time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
This episode of the Up North Journal podcast is brought to you by PSE Archery,
ScentLock Technologies,
Scent Blocker,
Rambo Bikes,
Hunter's Blend Coffee,
Limwalker Game Calls,
Stanislawski Releases,
Copper John Sights,
Easy Cut Outdoor Products,
Fourth Arrow Camera Arms,
Wind Sense Hunting Sense,
X-Stand Tree Stands,
Spot Shooters,
Gut Check Indicators,
and Packermax Cultipackers. And don't forget you can catch us in syndication at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on goodtalkradio.com. Welcome back to another episode of the Up North Journal podcast. Everybody, your host Mike Adams sitting in the cabin tonight with Mr. Danny DeFaw and none other than Mr. Ken Scicluna, who is on the water.
Yes.
Dude, you're looking good out there.
Thank you. Feels good to be out here, as always.
You're actually out on the boat, on the water, doing a little fishing.
We are. We're bass fishing tonight, of course.
Hey, have you had any thunderstorms roll through?
No, but I just got an alert on my phone that said lightning struck within 5 miles of me. So we got our eye to the sky tonight.
It's blue. Looking behind you.
Yeah, it is. I got my eyes. There's some clouds around. It feels like it could storm, but who knows?
Wow, crazy.
How is the fishing going?
Well, it started off a little slow, and we got two decent ones in the box right now. They're eating the jig pretty good here before I jumped on with you guys. I got my buddy Mike's running the boat right now. He's still fishing, and so it's picking up. I think it's going to be a good night. Nice.
Yeah. So, lake you're on, is it typically a good fishing lake? Or are you just testing this one out, or what? Are you pre-fishing?
Well, I know guys that do good out here. This is only my third time on this lake, so I've heard nothing but good things. I mean, we've got a couple decent ones in there. It looks good. It looks like it's setting up how I like to fish. Legend has it. It's a good lake. So.
A legend has it. Nice.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of people out on this lake for a Sunday evening, either recreation boating or just fishing?
Actually, there's not much traffic out here tonight because the deal is it's a private lake, but it has public access, if that makes any sense. You have to go through about 7 public lakes and about an hour and a half boat ride down to Huron River. We're on Orr Lake, and it takes about an hour and a half to get here from the public launch.
Okay.
And it's not a very big lake, and we haven't had a whole lot of traffic out here at all. It's been really nice.
That's awesome. It's kind of even though it's a public lake, it takes you a little while to get there, but it seems like you're doing not too bad with people zipping right by you with a jet ski or something like that.
Yeah, no, there's been none of that tonight. And I'm lucky enough, one of my tournament partners, he actually lives in a neighborhood association, so we just use his private launch when we come out here. So I don't have to deal with all the crazy Sunday night madness at a public launch.
Speaking of that, go back a little bit. A couple of days ago, you posted a picture. It was kind of crazy at the end of the night. Everybody coming in. Was that the whole gist of the picture? Was all the boats coming in at once?
All right, I'll tell the story. So we're at White Lake in White Lake Township, in near Waterford, very very busy area, and of course we get there at 5 a.m. There's nobody there. It wasn't a big parking lot. All the tournament boats pulled in. We basically took all the spots except for a couple, and so of course by when we got off the water at 2:30. All the spots are taken, and the lot was full. And the DNR attendant, bless her little heart, should have put the lot full like they normally do at the entrance of the ramp, and she didn't. And she ended up letting about 6 or 7 wake boat rigs in there, truck and trailer, everything. And even though the lot was full, she shouldn't have let them in there, but she did. And so they're all just sitting there waiting for us to come off the water. And they didn't want to move, and we couldn't back our trailer because the parking lot's small, and we couldn't back our trailers out until they moved, and they didn't want to move. And they were mad that we took up all the parking spots. And we're like, look, the faster you let us out, the faster you get on the water. So it was like a standoff for about 15, 20 minutes, and finally they started backing up and helping us back because it was so tight. It was really hard to back these huge bass boat trailers out and everything else, and it was just a mess. It was a mess.
Have you run into that a lot, or is that just...
No, that was, I think she looked like a high school student, a little inexperienced, probably easy to get walked walked on by, a middle-aged man with his family in a wake boat, and she just didn't know what she was doing. Typically, when the lot is full, they'll put the sign right at the entrance and not let anybody in, But she let a whole line of boats come in, and we couldn't back out our trailers. We ended up trailering the boat over to the White Lake Inn parking lot about 4 miles away, and did the weigh-in at a separate location.
Wow.
And
okay.
So we didn't lose any fish. No fish died. And so that was good. And we just let them go right there at the White Lake Inn, which is right on the water. So yeah, that was a real mess. I'm like, man, we're never going to get out of here. It wasn't looking good for a minute there.
I guess not. That's in a way it's kind of funny, but in a way it's kind of I'm glad. Probably fishing during the week, you don't run into that so often. Weekends you might, but it kind of helps when you put the lot full sign out.
Right? Yeah, it could have been like a naval standoff there.
I just let it felt like it. Yeah, they were not happy, and I think finally it realized like, hey, we're not going to get on the water until these guys get off the water.
Right.
Because
right.
They had the parking lot, and we had the ramp. So, somebody had to give.
Right. Somebody's going to give.
So they wanted on the water, so they gave.
So how you been doing lately with the tournaments? I mean, I've seen a few ups and a few downs, but you guys been doing pretty good.
Yeah, since we last talked, we had a kind of a down period in the month of July. The first 3 weeks of July, we were doing really terrible on the Tuesday nights. I had 2 middle of the pack finishes on a Saturday. And then a couple weeks ago, we got the win on Woodland. That was a crazy night. Got the win. We caught all those fish in about 7 casts, and that was it. And, we had the tournament won just that fast. And that was crazy. And then, White Lake, we did all right. We came in 3rd place, won some money there. And it was, just the same old, the one that got away story. We had the fish to win, and they got away. But we are happy. That's a big-time lake. There was a lot of good sticks in that tournament that we had to get by. We got by all but 2 of them. So it was tough. It was a grind, but it sure is fun. We were drop-shotting bass out of 20 foot of water. It was a lot of fun.
Well, how much longer do you have in your season? How long did your tournament season run?
Well, tournaments typically the regularly scheduled events is going to be wrapping up here middle August, end of August, and then they will have just open events in the month of September and October and November. Of course, I can't bring myself to fish in October and November. I'm in the woods no matter what. Unless I shoot. I always say if I shot a buck like opening week or something, then I'd go fishing. But that never happens. So
right.
I'm always in the woods. And but yeah, they'll have opens, all September, all October. Even if they have tournaments in November. But my season will end at the end of September.
Okay,
there we go. Yep. That's weird. We were just talking about that before we brought you on. And like, well, how long is he going to go? Is he going to be out there running out there on hard water fishing for tournaments or what?
Yeah, well, they do have that. I've never done it, but I plan to fish. I've got 2 more. It's actually kind of cool. The next 2 tournaments in August are on lakes I don't fish a lot. One's on Wamplers. I think it's in Jackson County, and the other one's on Devil's Lake, which I think is somewhere out there in Jackson County. So there are 2 lakes that none of us really fish a whole lot, so it could be anyone's game. And I'm looking forward to that. It's kind of like last 2 are going to be wild cards, and it should be a lot of fun.
Well, right now we can see that you're on the water. I don't see a rod or reel in your hand. I don't hear any fish. But you said you got somebody there fishing with you. You got to show us what's going on there, man. You got to.
All right. All right. I'm gonna.
We can't just look at you the whole time. We got to see something here.
Yep. There's my buddy Mike.
He's
running the boat, and he's flipping a jig right now. We got all the rods here.
Okay.
Laid out on the deck. I don't know if you can see that real good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we can see it.
Yeah. And then this is all his stuff back here. And of course I got rods tucked away down there. So it's Orr Lake, real beautiful. It's pretty quiet. There's a bunch of swans right there. So he's just flipping a jig in some grass right now. We've been catching all our fish on the outside edge of the grass line, throwing a jig, and it was, like I said, right before I got on, they were chomping it pretty good, and I feel like the bite's only going to get better as the evening goes on.
Is that typically how you see it on an August type day like this, where the bite is either in the morning, kind of tails off during the day, and then as we get in towards the evening, you're going to pick it up?
Yeah, I mean, there's always a morning bite. Sometimes the morning bite's not that great, to be honest. And sometimes the evening bite's not that great. Like last night, or not last night, but Saturday, we struggled all day, and the bite really turned on like at 2:00, a half an hour before the tournament stopped. I mean, they have these little feeding windows, and they happen at different times of the day, and it's different every day. You never know. I mean, I think a lot has to do with the weather and the moon, and I do believe in that. And they just have little feeding windows where they just turn on. And but yeah, this time of year, they're either way up under the docks in heavy vegetation, or they're out deep, like where we're fishing out, on the very edge of the weed line. Yeah.
Now, is that because of the temperature of the water and the air temperature as well that's driving the fish where they are?
Yeah, it's a combination of everything. Like they want to be, so like the bait fish is going to be where the most oxygen is, and that's going to be by the greenest weeds. And actually, the shallow water does hold a lot of oxygen too. And so wherever there's bait fish and cooler water, that's typically where they're going to be. And the docks and the pontoons and everything provide that shade. And I think the oxygen just maintains a little bit better in there in the shade. I could be wrong on that. I'm sure somebody can explain it better. But basically, from my understanding, you want to find green weeds that are putting off oxygen, and you find some deeper green weeds and some bait, and you're typically in business.
All right, cool.
Yeah, the summertime bite, it really, it's either going to be really shallow or deep. There's in between too, but for the most part, your bigger schools of fish are going to be shallow or deep.
Nice.
Yeah. I love fishing this time of year. The month of August, the jig bite really starts to fire up really good. That really just kind of turned on here the past few weeks, where they're starting to eat those bigger baits and the jigs. May and June, sometimes even a little July. It's if you want to catch them, you got to use more finesse, smaller type baits. But as the summer rolls on, the jig bite can get really good, and then the month of September is really tough. The fish are very scattered, and for some reason, September is a really, really hard month to catch them. So these are the good days right now that we're in. This is the prime of the year.
Are they looking right now? I guess in all essence, like to feed now to bulk up for the winter. Are they thinking that far out ahead, or is it not like that?
No, I think right now they're just eating, but that does happen. That does occur. I've never experienced it because, like I said, I'm always in the deer in the woods.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, my buddies that fish are fishaholics, even worse than me. They fish all the way till ice up, and I've heard multiple times. Some of the best fishing's right there in the rut. So when the deer are pre-rut, that's when the bass fishing, when they're really starting to put it on the feed bag for the winter. That's when they just eat and eat and eat.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
That could be that pre-spawn right before they spawn, and then right before ice up is some of the best fishing of the year.
Okay, all right. I didn't know how that worked with them. So
it's hit or miss. You know what I mean? Like same thing with pre-spawn. Like it's feast or famine. It's feast or famine both those times a year.
All right. Well, speaking of feast or famine, how about we take a break and before we get feasted on by running along on the segment, and we'll step out and we'll be back after this break.
All right. We'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has reinvented the way you buy bows.
From now on, you can make the most educated decision possible
by basing your bow choice specifically on your shooting needs and goals.
All you need to do is ask yourself, what kind of shooter am I? What do I want to achieve?
PSE will help find the right category for you.
So, what kind of shooter are you?
Find out at psearchery.com.
Back for segment 2. Before we get cranking too long here on segment 2, do want to give everybody a quick shout out on huntersblendcoffee.com. Go over to their website, use the UNJ promo code, and you will save 10% on your order.
Yeah, check it out.
That's what we're drinking tonight.
Use capital UNJ when you check out and get 10% off. All right, Ken, you're fishing.
Yes.
What? Have you started thinking about deer hunting?
Oh yeah. That's I mean, this time of year I can't help but to think about it. It's top of my brain pretty much it's a tough time of year because, like I said, this is the prime of year for catching big largemouth bass and big smallmouth on Lake St. Clair. This is it. This is the good days. But You know, the nights are going to start getting shorter and cooler, and I've been thinking about hunting a lot. I was looking at my tree saddle the other day, kind of making sure all the pieces were in place, and I'll go on vacation here, not this week but next week, and I'm going to take a day or two and just do what John Eberhart calls a speed tour of all my spots. Just make sure everything's looking good, all my public land spots, all my private spots, and just to see what's going on real quick, make sure everything is good. And then I won't be back until October 1st.
All right. Speaking of that, you kind of led me right to where I wanted to go. August is Treestand Safety Awareness Month.
That's right.
And you're going to be using the tree saddle.
Yeah.
Is this a first time thing?
No, last year was my first for me. It was my first year. I loved it. I can't wait to get back in it. I'm not going to say tree stands are old news to me or a way of the past, because I think if I ever found a really good spot where I could predict the year in and year out on private land, especially up in the UP at deer camp, I would definitely go buy a nice comfy ladder stand if I knew I was in a good spot. But I've really fallen in love with the mobile style hunting. I love it to death. I just love it. It's a very safe way to hunt. It's that, which is huge for me. It's a little bit more work, and there's a huge learning curve. You got to spend, if you're going to do it, you know, if anyone's thinking about getting a saddle, you need to get it now and start practicing your setup now. There's a learning curve, but once you get past that, there's definitely an aha moment, and it's not for everyone, but the guys that love it, and I'm one of those guys.
Do you practice shooting out of that saddle? Like this time of year, do you got a place at home where you get up in a tree and you actually practice shooting out it with your bow?
I sure do. I got a tree all trimmed out in the backyard, and, you know, of course, make sure all the kiddos and pets are away. And I do shoot out of it. And that's a cool thing about the tree saddle is you've got a 360 shot around the tree. You can shoot directly, like I said, 360 directly behind you very easily. You can hide behind the tree. It's just so many advantages. It's not even funny.
Well, that's awesome.
Well,
it's really cool.
You're talking about getting your trees prepped and everything. Right now, we've got a question up here on the live stream. Is, do you have your tree stands up already, or you have them ready to go for the season? And actually, we got a pretty good mix. Some 57% of people say no, not yet. Still got to get them out. 14% say yeah, they're up and ready to roll. And 29% are like, I leave them out all year long, which that kind of surprises me that it's that high. So
a lot of guys even leave them out all year long on the public land too.
Yeah,
right.
Which is not legal.
No, it's not.
You always go.
But
no, like they claim it for themselves, you know.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I've seen plenty of tree stands walking along in state land, and you look up and go, right, why is that here?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah.
I generally leave mine up all year, loosen them up and let them stand, check the straps when I go back and ratchet them back down.
For sure.
There was something that QDMA put out this week. Actually, it was yesterday or today about a guy who fell, and he was checking these straps, and he had a hang-on stand, and he checked the first one, and it was good, tightened it up, and he checked the second one and retightened it up, and he did what all of us always do. What do you do when you check a tree stand? You get in, you hang onto a limb, and you jump up and down on it. And then when you're done, you turn around and you sit down on it, and that's when his broke. And he fell,
after the fact,
shattered his ankle.
Oh,
and lesson learned. I guess he said, the thing to do is get the straps, get rid of them every year. They're cheap. Put new straps on.
Yep, and you're right about the straps being the cheapest they are and abundant. It's not like you have to special order them.
Mm-hmm.
You can find these straps anywhere,
right?
So
and wearing a lifeline would have prevented that whole situation. You're not and there's many different brands that make them, but there we go. He's got one.
He's got one.
There we go.
Flip around.
Guy.
There we go.
Little guy. Yeah. Little dinker. Oh, flapping
around. Get him.
But
fish in the boat.
Fish in the boat. Yeah. So
that's good.
But the lifeline. When I hunted out of tree stands, I definitely used one of those. I was attached from the moment I left the ground.
And that was the one thing he alluded to is the fact he went out to check. He wasn't even planning on checking stands at all. And he was checking cameras. He's like, oh, I forgot. I'm going to go up and just check that one stand. And you think, it's not going to happen to me. It's just one stand. But in my mind, it reaffirmed that my harness needs to go, and lifelines need to go with me everywhere I go.
Every time.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
They're cheap enough, they're cheap enough. And it just sounds like a terrible idea. Like, let me go check that tree stand and go jump on it with no harness.
Right.
I mean, I'm not trying to rag on the guy, but I mean, good grief.
Right. It's lesson learned.
Especially coming off of the winter and everything, and you think about it. Mm-hmm. If it could go wrong, it might go wrong right now.
Right. I mean, everyone makes mistakes. Thankfully, it didn't cost him his life.
That's what he said. If he'd been standing up, facing the tree, he'd have went over backwards when he was jumping on it. Could have fell, broke his back, broke his neck, landed on his head, whatever. But
thank goodness he's all right.
Yeah, and we all. I know 2 people personally that fell out of tree stands.
Yeah.
Actually, I take that back. I know 4 people because my dad did years ago, back when they were made out of wood. You built them, and then his buddy. So I take that back. I know 4 people that fell out.
There you go. And just like and up in the UP where you go hunting, do you use the saddle or do you have other stands?
In the UP, I used the saddle last year, like once, but up there it's so vast and it's very mountainous terrain where we're at. I do a lot of ground hunting up there. That's my preferred method of hunting up. We have areas where we sit and watch, but I did set up the saddle a few times, and I plan to do it again this year. And like I said, because I've only been hunting there about 4 years, and I don't have it dialed in yet because I'm not that good. But if I ever do find a good area, I do plan on buying a nice, comfortable ladder stand and keeping it up. And because we hunt a lot of private land up there too, we can do that. I basically hunt from the ground more than anything up there. And we have a lot of blinds set up. Over the years, those guys have put up a lot of ground blinds, and I do a lot of walking, stalking, still hunting. Because you can get away with that up there a lot more than down here. It's more wide open.
Right, exactly. And trust me, even if you're on private land, it doesn't mean your stand won't walk away.
That's right.
Right.
It's happened to me, so it's like really, it's like you guys
chain them.
It's right.
Python cable them.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So it's one of those things you learn, and it's like, okay, fine. It is definitely, like you said, you got to get the lifelines. You got to make sure all your tree stand stuff is ready to go, whether it be straps or harnesses, whatever. I think there's even harnesses that are dated.
An expiration date on them.
And check them and make sure if you're past, you might want to think about maybe getting a new one, because I think they're good for 10 years.
The one thing I will say about the tree saddle is guys and this is a pet peeve of mine, because guys say, you got your line, because we use a lineman's belt to climb, even with the tree saddle.
Right.
Because a lot of times you're hanging the sticks as you're climbing. Like that, I don't care what anyone says. You are not attached to a tree with a lineman's belt. You can still fall down the tree and hurt yourself or kill yourself even wearing a lineman's belt. Lineman's belt does not guarantee anything. Like one wrong slip and down you go. Like it might catch. It improves your odds of not hitting the ground. But guys get carried away. I'm trying to find a way to actually, I know a way. It's just harder because with a saddle you have a tether that you wrap around the tree and that connects to your saddle. And I thought it would take a lot of extra time, but if I hooked that tether up at ground level and just slid it up the tree as I'm putting up my sticks, then I would be actually attached to the tree the whole way up. Versus with the lineman's belt, that's all you got. You're not really attached to the tree. That's just my take on it. That does not make 100% safe. I'm trying to find a way to not do it.
Right. Well, and that's always been a thing I've had back in my mind is I use lifelines. I use, my tether to the tree when I get up in the stand in my harness. But when you're putting a stand up, you're at the ground, you lean the stand up if it's a ladder stand, which is what I use now. Okay, so when it's time to go up, at what point, how do you get that line up to where it needs to be around that tree?
Right.
Right.
You got to ascend at some point without a line, unless I'm sadly mistaken. And we're going to get somebody on the show here this month and talk about that.
Absolutely.
But Ken, do you have any suggestions? What do you think?
Well, what I thought about, a lot of videos on this, and what you could do, it'd be a pain, but it'd be safe, is what you could do is you get that ladder stand up there. If you got a set of climbing sticks, you set the climbing sticks up and climb up behind it, with a lineman's belt or, whatever, and then strap it that way instead of, as I've been there, I've done it. It was stupid, but you climb up that ladder stand. You're hoping that it doesn't rock off the tree.
Right.
You hurry up and ratchet it on. But I think if I were to ever do that now, I would just use my lineman's belt and my climbing sticks and climb up the backside and ratchet it that way. Yeah, that's my idea.
Yeah.
So are you when you're hanging, are you doing them by yourself, or do you have somebody with you?
With this, when I do a ladder stand?
Yeah.
I've always done it by myself. I've never really had a hunting buddy. I pretty much lone wolf all the time.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. I hang all that stuff. I've hung a lot of ladder stands by myself, very stupidly over the years, and I'm never doing that again.
Yeah, I make it a point to have somebody with me all the time now. At least if something does happen, somebody's there, knows where you're at, and can get help to you.
Right, exactly. Just the most important thing about the safety aspect of it is if you're going to do it by yourself, make sure people know where you're at.
Yep. But see, the thing is, you got to give away your honey hole at that point. You got to trust the person you're telling.
Big time. Yep.
Oh,
yeah.
I totally agree there. But it's like the spot he just marked on his fish finder of where they're catching fish.
Right.
It's like
You notice he keeps spinning around and he's showing the sky. He's not giving us any pinpoint spots to where they're at.
Right?
I can't see any landmarks.
bunch of secret stuff out here, let me tell you.
Yeah. That's
secret seaweed.
Yeah, secret seaweed. Yep. Secret milfoil. Yep.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We're coming up on our next break. I appreciate the update on everything.
Yep.
What you got going on out there. So you're going to run at least through the end of August, right?
Yeah, for sure. The end of August, we got. I'm going to do some fit. I got one coming up this Thursday night, so I'll be posting about that. I those fish got released. I couldn't post, and the past Tuesday nights we've had these storms every single Tuesday night, and so hopefully we get some better weather. Got one coming up Thursday. I got actually up by you guys Saturday. I got a tournament on Panema.
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys are around. That's going to be a big tournament. That'll have 40 boats. That'll be a madhouse.
40 boats.
There'll be 30 to 40 boats at that one. Yeah. For sure.
Does that parking area hold that many boats?
I think so. If not, they'll have an overflow. It's a pretty big parking lot. And if not, they always have overflow worked out where they'll do a shuttle or something like that. You got to get there early for that. And but yeah, that's going to be a big tournament. I'm fishing that. And then I've got, like I said, the Wamplers and then Devils. And then I'll definitely do a few opens in September. So a lot of fishing left. A lot more content on the way.
Okay, good
deal.
deal.
Good deal.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'll be up north this coming Saturday, so I won't be able to make it out there. But
nice.
Hey, well, you guys get out there and catch some more fish, man.
We will. Hopefully you'll be seeing a good pick later tonight on the page.
All right. Hey, well, you guys be safe out there, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Okay, take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Well, that's it from
Live on the Water.
Live on the Water.
We've done it live on the ice.
We've done live on the ice. We've done live on the road.
Now we're live on the water.
Live on the water. That's a first. That's good.
That is. That is pretty cool.
All right. I tell you what, we're going to go ahead and throw it to a break here, our second break. So we're going to step outside and we'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has always dominated the speed category. Now, the most revolutionary cam system ever to hit the market has perfected the shooting experience. Introducing PSE's Evolve Cam System, featuring extremely high let-off capabilities and the smoothest draw cycle in history. No other cam system has ever delivered this level of total comfort and total control. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Welcome back. Third segment of the show. Just got done talking to Ken Scicluna live out on the lake.
Lake Orr, right?
Lake Orr down in Livingston County.
Is that ORR?
I think so. I'm not sure. Who's asking?
A.J. Presley.
Okay. Yeah, he said he was out fishing for smallmouth on the river yesterday. It's down in Livingston County, down in the chain of lakes, series of lakes down there. So,
all right, there we go. Answer him back.
All right, good deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I see you've been pretty busy here in the last day or two.
Well, you know what? It's going to be about that time. And last year I made a stand for a platform.
Okay, I thought you meant you made a stand.
No.
Made a stand on something.
I made a stand. So, plan is to add another one this year. I just figure if I do one a year, a couple years go by, I'd have different spots all set up, ready to go. You just go up there. It's an 8x8 platform, and you just throw your pop-up on top of it. I'm putting some D-loops on the deck, so you can just zip tie the blind right to it.
Dude, that's a big platform.
8x8.
That's
so
huge.
Which is nice because it gives you able to walk around or shift, depending on where you set it up. You can shift the blind then to one side or the other, or if you need to, like I did with the last one last year, I tucked it into some pine trees, and then I could push out the blind a little bit and still have it tucked in to all the limbs.
Gotcha.
So it worked out good. So yeah, Kelly and I got together yesterday, and Friday night we went and bought the wood, and last night we yesterday morning got out there before it got too hot.
Right.
And then we pounded this thing together, and I got the framing for the deck done yesterday. All I need is to get the 4x4x10s and then the cross beams. I got to make a ladder, and then just 2 sheets of treated plywood and throw it out on top there, and we'll be ready.
How do you
to
get
go.
that thing in the air?
Okay, so that's kind of a cool thing that me and my brother had to figure that out last year. So we got it out in the woods, piece by piece, and then we put it all together. And basically what you see there is what we started with on the ground. I got 2-foot 4x4s in each leg. So we popped 2 of those out, and we take and we put in the 2 10-footers, and then we go to the other side, and we use the 2x4s that we have with us, and we start to prop it up and prop it up and prop it up.
Work it up in the air.
And work it up till we get to a point where we can slide in the 2 4x4s.
Gotcha.
And then it ends up, and then you kind of shake it around and make sure the legs
settle. Gotcha.
So yeah, at first it was like, wow, how are we gonna get this up there?
Right.
But we figured it out. You know, it was a trip, but this year, you know, I looked at it and said, okay, let's make another one. Added a few improvements to it, and we'll see how this one goes up. I got the spot ready for this. In July, when I was up there, I made the trail to this spot that we showed on the show before, so I know exactly where this is going to go. And so now we're just going to get it there, and hopefully when I'm up over Labor Day, put it up, and it'll be ready to go.
Okay, here's my next question. How do you haul that north?
Disassembled.
Okay, so you got it screwed together.
It's all screwed together,
Okay.
Except for the beams that have the 4x4 elevators on them. I leave those like that.
Okay.
And basically what I had Kelly do is go through, what I do
Mark them.
is I mark them,
Yeah.
and you make one end the beginning, and then basically it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and
so on and so forth.
Exactly. You just put the numbers together, and away you go.
Oh, so it's like a paint by number thing.
It is a assemble by number thing. That's what exactly. Not paint by number, because I'll be out there a while, but assemble by number. You just got to set the platform the way you want it, because I got it marked first. You got to know north, set it north, then you put in the 2 other ones, and then you just go with the easier part this year is I bought some deck hangers that the 2x4s will just slip them right in, right?
Nice.
And that's one of my added features this year. Is like my brother kind of said, hey, next time you do this, do that. And I'm like, okay, we can do that.
A little upgrade.
Absolutely. So hope to get that up there. And being 8x8, depending on what blind we throw out there on that thing, it'll accommodate all the blinds that in the arsenal. I've got some cousins. They've got those big, I think they're Barrett style. I mean, they're huge. We can put one of those up there. So,
nice.
Yeah, exactly. So every year just adding a little bit to the land, and I'm kind of putting this stand back in an old spot, which it seems that I thought it was going to change, but I don't think it is changing. So we're going to find out. So
okay.
It might have actually opened up. Typically, you'll put your back, we put your back to the east, and you're facing the west, and so you were getting the prevailing winds coming at you, right?
Right.
So, but this one it's in the same spot, but I think you're gonna have to sit with your back to the north, because what has happened with the cuttings is now that was typically behind you is really thick, has now opened up. So now we've got some shooting lane through there. So I'm hoping that you won't get the ones that snuck behind you. You'll be able to catch them now.
Okay.
And it's going to go back in the old spot. The tree that it's replacing was harvested, because I found the old tree stand laying on the ground. That's how I found the stand.
Okay.
Like, here it is.
Gotcha.
So, but that's what I was doing the last couple of days, and is just getting ready and trying to get it done before noon yesterday, because it started to get a little warm.
Yeah, it was. It's been hot all weekend. It was hot last week, and I was down in Indiana doing our work as well.
Yeah,
tree
exactly.
Stands up, so.
And it is hot out in the bush, and unfortunately, we're starting to, Treestand Safety. We're starting to talk deer hunting, but things are going to start popping up here as EHD, and
Actually, we talked a little bit about that before the show.
Exactly. So this is I almost want to say it's a changing month.
Kind of is,
because things start changing now. I'll notice. I'll have to go look, but I'll notice the woods start to get, instead of that lush green, start to get that yellow to it.
Yeah, well, especially above the bridge, but even up around the bridge, you get way up north. When you go up Labor Day weekend, you're going to start to see some leaves changing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's definitely some leaf change, and you'll be able to definitely see that they're now going into their 2 weeks ahead of us. Mm-hmm. They were 2 weeks behind us growing, and you'll start to see it in... shortly after probably Labor Day, middle of the month, they'll probably have their first frost.
Right. Well,
cold.
Here this week, the temperature started dropping in the morning. We had one morning, it was, I think it was like 48, 49 degrees here at home.
It was kind of nice, wasn't it?
You wake up in the morning and it's like, whoa, wait a minute. What is that?
Right? There was that crisp thing going on.
My trigger finger starts twitching. And
wait, now... It doesn't have to be twitching because you're up to number 10, I heard. I just missed it before I came over. We'll talk about that next segment.
Yeah.
Because, but yeah, it's that cold air. Last night, Kelly and I got out. We shot the bows, and it was just, it was.
It's that time of year to get out and start getting busy. If you're not out getting ready for deer season now, you're late.
Right, and the deer were coming in when we were shooting the bows, and it was just one of those things. It was like, they wanted to see what we were doing. So
is that one of them?
That's him. That's my resident buck. He's
what happened to his ear?
I think he's behind his head.
Okay,
it's there.
I thought maybe you shot it off.
No. It was kind of funny. He actually came in last night as well, and he was watching me shoot my bow.
Yeah.
He's like, "Wow, that's kind of cool." He said I was awesome. Kelly was awesome.
Yep. He told you were awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. He looked at me, kind of gave me the nod,
winked his eye.
Yep.
Kind of lifted a hoof and waved it at you.
Almost.
Yeah.
Sure. And I think I want to say it might be his sister that he's with. He's been hanging around quite a bit, so I think I know which one he is from last year. Mm-hmm. But he's been around. He's been growing, and he's been, foraging away. And I've just been watching him. It's so nice to watch him grow. And he's going to be an 8-pointer, definitely an 8-pointer. Mm-hmm. And it'll be interesting to see. In about a month, he'll come in one night. Actually, I'll try to do it again. I think I got pictures last year of him shedding. There's that couple-hour, 24-hour period where they shed, and if he's in, I'll see if he'll let me come out and take pictures of him again like he did last year. But it is just so cool.
When they start taking that velvet off?
Yeah, and all of a sudden it just kind of hangs there, and it's kind of bloody, and it's just like, it's a cool moment because you only got so long that happened. And
have you seen any difference in your deer coming in since, we can't feed now, can't do any recreational feeding, and I know you used to do that.
Yep.
Has that changed the deer activity in your backyard?
They tend to still come through.
Yeah.
They still come through. Actually, he actually did it too. They come through grazing. They graze on the back lawn.
Okay.
It's almost like I'm in the travel corridor.
Okay.
So I can see them going through the woods, and they'll come through, and they'll just be grazing on the grasses and the trees and leaves that are there. Like I trimmed some trees back last weekend, and I went and I piled them up out in the woods, and
they were in there checking them out.
They just go there and eat the leaves right off.
Yeah.
They just, it was free food for them, so they just mowed them all down. So
I just wondered, there was some talk I seen that was posted earlier today. I won't say who it was or anything like that, but the talk back and forth, and I see both sides, was about the baiting issue here in Michigan, the recreational feeding, about how they've just stopped it this year, and people are still selling it.
Oh, well,
and there's some bigger stores that cater to the hunters here in Michigan, and I'm not saying the sporting goods store. There's other stores that typically sell things for outdoorsmen.
Right, exactly.
And there's the discussion is it the responsibility of the store to say, okay, it's against the law to use this, we're not going to sell it? Because that's what, like Cabela's and Bass Pro, they keep it out of their stores. They don't sell it. Or sorry, not them, Jay's. It was Jay's.
Okay.
MUCC said
I was going to say.
Yeah, it's Jay's.
Okay.
Well, down the one in Dundee down by Ohio, that's literally on the state line. I can understand the reasons there because, people are traveling. That's a travel corridor. People going to their hunts. But they said Jay's, being up in the middle of the state, they don't sell any more supplement or baits or anything like that to put out. So
they're not even tempting the people.
Exactly. So that's my point. Is it the responsibility of the store, or is it the responsibility of the hunter, or both? I mean, where does that responsibility lie?
Which way you want to look at it? As the business owner? As the business owner, you're going to say, hey, it's out there. It's up to you not to buy it. And if I see a decline this year, let's say, then next year I wouldn't order it. But they're going to, okay.
I'm playing devil's advocate here.
So here's another one I got for you. The store down the road here, we can't dove hunt in this state.
Yeah, can't dove hunt. Yep.
So why do they have dove decoys in there?
One down the road here.
Yeah, at Walmart down the road.
Really?
They have got 4 racks of dove decoys.
Here in our hometown?
Yep.
You're serious?
I am dead serious. I came around the corner. I always walk to the sporting goods.
I think that's probably more of a distribution center, not knowing what they're doing. And just shipping it, and that's what it is with a lot of these bigger stores now. It's like, okay, we've got this stuff and we're going to send it this much to every store. So I don't know.
So Josh is commenting, to me, the store should pull it if it's illegal in the state. Here in Indiana, it's hard to ever find feed unless season's in, when they can use it.
Right.
So what he's saying, if it's illegal in the state, don't even bother selling it.
See, and that's kind of where I'm at. It's like, if it's illegal to use, that's like saying, well, drugs are illegal in the state, so it's okay to sell them, though. You know? Come on.
Do you tell Tractor Supply to stop selling corn?
For supplemental feeding, if it's geared and if it's got deer on the bags, yes.
Okay.
And actually, that was the store that was in question.
Okay, because they have both. Mm-hmm. They've got their, I forgot what name brand they have.
Right.
For their corn.
Right.
And then they got the camo bags or the deer bags, whatever.
Yeah.
That are over in the hunting section, which is
run the same two down the same assembly line probably to fill them.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Just
and
the bag's
different, shut,
right? But you have to understand, the deer, when they come out there, they'll read the bag that says, because the deer have read the laws that they're not supposed to have the bait, so they will not eat that.
Yeah.
They will just walk away from it.
Okay. But no, I thought it was a good discussion. And actually, the forum that it was in, it was really good debate, because there's people on both sides.
Oh,
and I can see both sides. I really do. But I do think that he says each store has a certain planograms for each set for each department. Yeah,
totally get that.
Yep.
I just know in this state we can't hunt doves, so we got 3 racks of dove decoys.
So are people going to use them and put them in their Christmas tree then for ornaments?
All you need is 2.
It'd be interesting to see how many.
They come in packs of 2.
Do they?
So it's 2 turtle doves.
2 turtle doves. Okay.
Right. But anyways, so I can't. So I had to look. I had to actually walk up and look at them and go, "Are those what I think they are?" And they were. And it was like, and then they had in the rack they had waist belt to put them in. So, and that was by one of our friends, camo friends that we pro staff for.
Okay. Well, Tim Sia says it's up to a hunter to follow the laws of the land. I 100% agree with you on that. I really do, Tim. But I don't. There's a certain percentage of people out there, you want to call them hunter, you want to call them whatever you want to call them, that will break the law anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if it's why make it easier for them?
Well, we know now that they banned it here in the lower. I bet you that big sign that's up I-75 to the right, they'll still be open.
Oh yeah.
Now, granted, I can bait in the UP.
Yeah, and that's going to be the whole theory behind it. People can buy it on their way north.
Right. So it's not illegal to buy it.
Ship it across the bridge,
which they do,
and have it sitting there in St. Ignace for everybody to buy.
They do. They got it. Turn left, start heading west. It's right on your right hand side.
Yeah,
$40. Mm-hmm. Piece of cake. Absolutely. But anyways, it's interesting that stuff like that's out there, because when we get into the ATA sense and stuff and being legal and illegal, if they get caught, there's nobody except them that they were doing it.
I know. It's just kind of irritating. We have this discussion every single year,
and we do. And so now I'll explain to you why they can do that, because there's a weekend in the year that you can bait.
That's right. If you're
the Liberty Hunt, the youth hunt that weekend,
and the disabled hunt as well,
you can use bait.
Yeah.
So
I don't think you can use it in the youth. I think it's just a disabled hunt. And
isn't it the same weekend, or is it a different weekend?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't either. But anyways, you can bait that weekend. So
if you're fit the category,
exactly.
But I say if it's bad for the deer, it's bad for the deer. If it's bad for one, it's bad for all.
according to the DNR, it's not.
Well, I know that, but that's the problem. So we can sit here and debate this all night, and we're running over right now, so let's take our next break.
Let's do that.
All right, we'll be right back after this.
Acceleration is part of PSE's DNA. PSE pioneered the speed movement. Now they've developed the vapor category to help you find the most powerful bows on the market to fit you.
High speed equates to intense power and building the momentum you need to be successful. Are you a vapor shooter? Find out at psearchery.com.
Welcome back, fourth segment. Dan is starting a state war here. Trying to, yeah. See, you got to listen to the commercials. Those of you on the podcast, go back and listen in between segment 3 and 4. That's all I can say.
Right, exactly. But, yeah, so...
what were we talking about?
Just wanted to touch on, you said you had an itchy trigger finger with the coolness.
I scratched it today
but
twice.
You scratched it twice, and now you're up to 10.
Yeah. Groundhogs are back at it again.
You should have on your Jeep hood, like groundhogs, like you're a pilot.
Yeah. How many Ks I got?
Yeah.
Little vermin just will not stop. I'm going
Is
insane.
there any insightness of it ending?
I don't know. We'll see now. I thought I only had one. I thought there was one left, and he was tormenting me for almost 2 weeks. He'd show up, and actually, I went to shoot my bow Friday night after work, and I grabbed my bow. For whatever reason, I walked out the front door and around to the back because I was going to open the gate because I was going to do long-distance shooting.
Okay.
And as soon as I come around the corner with my bow and I look up, there he was, and he looked at me and went, bye, and away he ran back into his hole. I'm like, I could never get the drop on him.
Which hole is he using?
The one in the back by the barn or by the
shed?
building. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So he's
So this morning I'm laying in bed, I'm asleep, and my daughter wakes up. My youngest daughter is here at home still. Dad, groundhog's out. And I'm like, instantly, man, bing! My eyes are wide open. I jump up out of bed, run in, and take the shot. And he's actually no, I take that back. I was gonna take the shot. And I'm up in my sniper's nest waiting, but he's in front of the garage door, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna wait for him to move a little bit. And he was kind of grazing and moving, so I just set the gun there against the wall, and I probably had a little too much water to drink through the night, so had to take care of business.
Okay.
And I come back, and he's gone. I'm like, where is he? And my daughter's down the hall watching out the big window, and she's like, where'd he go? I said, I don't know. And all of a sudden, whoop, he pops up on our deck, on the step.
Oh, on the deck?
And she was like, there he is on the deck. So I swing around, and he's on the deck, and I get a clean shot, so once I hit and it goes through him, it's going to go into the grass.
Okay, I was going to say.
So I rocked him off the step.
You kind of gave him the eviction notice off the top step.
Yeah, it's like, how dare you come up to my house on my step and play them games?
How was his landing?
Flat.
Good 10.0?
Yeah, he was flat out. So, no, I took care of that, and I thought, okay, good, we're done, because we've been seeing one.
Okay, you got him.
And I was waiting on you to come over for the show tonight, and lo and behold, I went upstairs for something real quick. I was going to get my shirt on for the show, and I look out the window, and there's another one. And I'm like, oh, no, you don't. So I pierced his ear.
Both ears?
Yes.
Nice. So you've got 10 and your neighbor's got one, right?
Yeah.
So now you've got 11.
Yeah.
You're either going to get a dozen or a baker's dozen out of this year.
I don't know. I've had it. I'm done with them. I don't like them. I don't want to see another one.
Well, like you said, they mess up your lawn. They mess up. They're underneath your buildings.
Yeah. They're underneath the outbuilding back there. That's what worries me. And they got a runway underneath the little shed up here in the front. So
right, exactly. So stick of dynamite would take care of it.
It would. It'd take care of everything.
And your building.
Yeah.
But anyways, no. So your trigger finger's getting itched.
It got scratched.
It's funny, and they just keep coming back.
It's maddening, I mean, yeah, the first couple, it's like, okay, this kind of, it's a game, It's like, okay, I'm pick them off here, get a little target practice in. But now it's just like, come on, man, I've had enough. Ammo's not cheap.
Don Edwards says most groundhogs are smarter than any buck I've ever run across.
Right? Isn't that the truth? I mean, he knows when I work. He knows when I come home from work. It's maddening.
Absolutely.
I've really had trouble with this last one. It's taken me almost 2 weeks to get him. Well, now I know there's two.
And I don't know their breeding habits or cycles or whatever it is, but
I think they're a spring breeder, but they may be like rabbits. They may have multiple litters. I don't know.
I was going to say, if you let one of the females get another litter or whatever they have, I don't know how many they have, but come next spring, you just might have this problem again.
Well, the one that came up on the deck was a female.
Okay.
The other one, I didn't pay any attention. I was so mad. I just got the shovel and threw it out in the field. Didn't care at that point. So, hey, getting back to our pole right now. Do you have your tree stands up already out in the field? And our pole's running right now live, and not yet. Still have to get them up. It's 56%, so just a little over half of you still got to put tree stands up. But 33% of you leave them out all year long, and only 11 say that there are. Yep, you've already got them done and up and out. Mine, I fit that category. Mine are up and out. I might move a couple.
Yours are up and out.
Yeah,
but they haven't had their final place for the year, though.
The ones in Indiana have.
Oh, okay.
Yep, I just put those up last weekend. The ones up here in Michigan, we haven't moved them. May do that next weekend. Don't know yet. Next weekend is going to be busy. I mean, it's going to be really busy. I was going to go up into elk country. We're having a meeting at our camp, but something else came up, and we're going to do some work around the property, and I got an invite to go over to another camp.
Okay.
So
go check out go check out the neighbors there.
So I got some things to do.
You are the groundhog commander.
Evidently not, because
you're not commanding them.
I'm not commanding them to stay out of my yard.
Right. And Tim C.S. wants to know what I'm trying to say, Danny. I'll let you two Virginia and West Virginia guys figure that out.
Danny's trying to start something. That's all he's trying to do.
Yeah, so, hey, as long as it's not here. But anyways, so you're going to be heading up north, and I'm going to a wedding in Chicago. So.
Okay. Well, you enjoy that.
The wedding I will. The place I won't.
I hope to do maybe even in the evening, Saturday evening, maybe do a cast or two.
Oh, in the
up at camp, yeah.
Yeah.
I hope.
Sure, why not?
But I have a feeling we might be working till dark.
Oh, that could be.
Might be one of those.
You could actually go after dark out there.
Yeah, you could.
I don't know how the bugs are right about now, but
probably fierce.
You know what? That's one thing I have noticed. Mosquitoes have not been aplenty around here, and I don't know why. I think it might be because it's dry. I thought it was kind of wet.
It was wet in the spring and halfway through the first part of the summer, but now in the last month and a half, 2 months, it's been bone dry. You know, and like you talked, I kind of start to worry a little bit about EHD.
Yeah.
I got a few trail cam photos sent to me today from down in Indiana, and there was one that was looking not so healthy.
Kind of looked
and my question was, EHD question mark, and David said, yeah, he said it's what kind of looks like. So
right, exactly. And
I hope not.
You hope if it is, it ends up being light. If you don't need like it happened down a little bit south of here where it just hit it really hard. But that's one of the things. But I just noticed that because like when I was running, I went just before I came here. I went and ran my dogs out in the woods, and normally about evenings, like you go out there and it's like
right, you get eat up,
but it didn't happen. I've been noticing that, and but hope for your EHD is August, so this will be the month of it.
Yeah.
So hopefully that won't.
We can get to like the middle of September without any huge outbreak. Be doing good. Something else. I was down there all last Saturday. All day we were out in the field, except for like maybe an hour to go eat lunch. And I mean, in the field, in the deep, thick stuff, nasty. It grew it up a lot, slugging tree stands through the underbrush. I didn't get a tick on me.
Did they have ticks down there?
Yeah.
Did they do?
Oh yeah.
But you didn't get one on you?
Did not get it. I checked and checked.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I was shocked.
You got something else on you though. The plant you decided to walk through.
Yeah, the stinging nettles.
Stinging nettles. That's the name of it.
I got
which you didn't know nothing about.
I didn't know. No, nobody warned me about those. And I was standing right in the middle of them trying to figure out why I was itching like crazy.
You walked right through them?
Walked right through them.
I guess you'd call a patch of it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and it was about chest high.
And they sting.
Yeah, it does. Evidently, they're pretty bad.
Right, exactly. So you learned about that, but you didn't get a tick, which is kind of surprising considering the thick stuff you were telling me you were walking through, the fields, the woods.
Drainage basins and stuff like that, carrying those tree stands through.
Drainage basin.
Yeah, so it was nasty.
And you didn't get one.
No.
That's awesome.
So I'm thankful for that.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to, before we go tonight, we got an event coming up in 2 weeks. over at Spot Shooter Archery.
Oh, yeah.
His grand reopening of the new store over on Apollo Drive in Holly, for those of you here in the mid-Michigan area. And that's also going to be Bowfest.
Yep, I think I posted the flyer to the page.
Yep. So check that out. Just scroll down our page here on Facebook.
I'll definitely post it again this week and next week. Make sure it gets bumped up to the top.
New archery range over there.
New archery range. Go in. It's going to happen in 2 weeks. He's going to have Bless Your Bows pasture there.
And then the week after that, or actually that week of, right after that, 5 days after that, on the 22nd of August, starts his first indoor archery league. It's a short one, real short 4-week league. Thursday night, 6:30. You come in and it's like a pre-hunting type league. Get your hunting gear set up, shoot against other guys.
Yep.
Have some fun.
Have some fun. Give you a 4-week tune-up to shoot.
Hunting tune-up.
Tune-up. Give you 4 weeks to shoot. So it ain't going to be that bad. It'll start the 22nd. So that's 2 weeks left in August, 2 weeks into September. So by middle of September, you'll be done in a league, ready to go for a hunting season.
Thursday nights.
Not bad. Not bad at all. And you got to like it because he's going to have refreshments and stuff there. I do believe you'll be able to purchase.
Yep.
So
Danny and I will be there, so come over, shoot with us.
We'll be there, and then we should be ready. That'll take us to the middle of September.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, man, like you said in the beginning of the show, where's this year gone?
Right. Now, speaking of tuning up and getting ready for hunting seasons, kind of like what we're talking about tonight, you shot your hunting bow or your target bow this week?
I shot them both.
And
I shot them both last night, and they both hit the bag. So I'm good. I like it.
They hit the bag.
Yeah.
Hit the target?
Yep, absolutely.
Hit the bullseye?
Yep. I know exactly where they're shooting.
Okay.
So for whatever reason, my elbow is now in pain. I don't know why.
Got to work that thing out some more.
It was weird. I never had that before. And all of a sudden, it was like, ow.
Have you shot a lot this year or this summer?
I haven't shot a lot this summer.
That's probably why. Because I shot a pretty good amount. I mean, I was shooting every week, consistently.
Right, exactly.
Not every day, but every week.
But usually I don't get that because doing the weights.
Yeah.
Usually stretches out and I'm good. But stay tuned on that.
Well, I got the sight tape done on the shoot down.
All right.
Oh my gosh. I never knew a little tiny piece of paper could be so cool.
Right?
Put that into that program and print that thing out, put it on the side, line that up where it's supposed to be. And I got home, I shot over at Jim's over at the range. I shot 20 yards. Well, okay, 20 yards, there's not a lot of room there. I mean, there's a little bit of variance, but when you start stepping back, that's when you notice, does it work or not?
Right.
So I immediately went to 40 yards. Okay, good there. Step back to 50. Okay, it's good. Dude, I got back to 80 yards.
And you were
the last shot of the night was 1.5 inches out of the bullseye at 80 yards, and I went, wow.
See?
Just
makes a big difference.
It is, yeah. I mean, any errors are me now.
Right?
It's so cool.
Your equipment's ready. It's now all you, right?
So that thing is ready to go for indoor leagues. I got the Evolve 28 out tonight to do some shooting, getting ready for hunting season. And I got that out and started at 40, went 40, 50, and 60. And as I started stepping back, I started shooting more to the right. So I made it after I shot 60. My last group I shot at 60 was, I don't know, probably a 3-inch circle.
There you go.
A little bit smaller than a softball. And it was just a little high and a little right. So I made the adjustment and came in. I didn't even shoot it again after that.
Okay, you just made
I was getting tired.
Yeah, that's one thing you gotta watch. So to get tired.
I just moved it right and moved the sight right and moved it up a little bit. Moved my 60-yard pin up a little bit. So I'll check that out when I go back out.
Tim Cia says it's because of old age.
I agree with you, Tim.
What's he trying to say?
Your elbow is creaking because it's old.
Might have to go to the crossbow.
There you go. So
I gotta get that set up too.
But
I got it set up, but I just gotta make sure it's where it needs to be.
I'm waiting on my new target to get here.
I want to say big boy.
I think it's a big boy. Yeah, big boy target.
Okay.
Yep.
When I say that, I picture the nice hamburger. Anyways, it's on its way.
No, I have not heard anything. They were 6 weeks out when I ordered.
6 weeks out.
Yeah, so that'll be like 2 more weeks, I think. I have to check the date, but I think I still got 2 more weeks.
Wow.
I want the thing to get here, man, because I want to shoot.
Right?
I like shooting my bow, but when I shoot my hunting rig into that bail, the screw-in field points, they stick into that webbing that's inside.
Oh.
And they're so hard to pull out. And I just don't like
It's almost like they get fused in there.
Yeah, and that's really why I haven't shot a lot, is because of the last time I shot, I had to cut one out of it.
Right, exactly.
So, and that's the same day I ordered one of those targets.
Nice. So, but yeah, no, so it's kind of turning, the season is starting to turn. So we're starting to tune up for hunting season, whether it be in a tree or shooting a bow.
Right. Time for you guys to get working out if you hadn't started already. We're going to have our guy on tonight.
Yes.
But he had something at home that he had to attend to, and he couldn't make it. So that's why we went the fishing route with Ken.
Right, exactly.
And we needed to catch up with Ken anyway.
Yeah, we needed to catch up with him, find out what he was doing. Lo and behold, we had our first ever live on the water.
That's right, and live fish caught.
There you go.
See?
On the water.
So
it'll be fun. Maybe we'll have to try to get him to do some hard water. If we get hard water,
that's always the thing around here. It's a roll of the dice if we ever get hard enough ice to actually get out on or not.
Right, exactly. So, but other than that, we're gonna dive into middle of August here, and before you know it, those leaves are going to be changing.
Early goose season starts in 3.5-4 weeks.
That's September 1, right?
I think so.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure. So,
nice.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's here. I mean, it is here. I'm here to tell you. So
It is here.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's wrap up the podcast portion of the show, and we will hang on here on the live stream for a few minutes and see what's going on. So for those of you listening to the podcast, that'll do it for us this week. We'll be back again next week. You all take care. And don't forget, you can catch us in syndication at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on goodtalkradio.com. This episode was brought to you by PSE Archery,
Scentlock Technologies,
Scent Blocker,
Rambo Bikes,
Hunter's Blend Coffee,
Limb Walker Game Calls,
Stanislawski Releases,
Copper John Sights,
Easy Cut Outdoor Products,
Fourth Arrow Camera Arms,
Wind Sense Hunting Sense,
X-Stand Tree Stands,
Spot Shooters,
Gut Check Indicators,
and Packermax Cultipackers.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe. Until next week on the Up North Journal.